The Super Tuesday results already rolling in. Virginia, North Carolina go for Biden. Vermont goes for Sanders. And on the Republican side, President Trump is headed for a sweep.
And the clock is ticking for Colorado. Long lines of people waiting to cast their votes right now. And we're here to walk you through every minute of Super Tuesday.
And over the next half hour, we are expecting to get results from several states whose polls are just now closing, or really literally closing at the top of the hour. Maine, Alabama, Tennessee, Arkansas, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, and the big one, Texas. And our team is tracking all those races as we speak. And as soon as we have reportable results, we will, of course, pass those along to you. Thank you so much for joining us for this ride on this Super Tuesday. I'm Ann Trujillo.
And I'm Shannon Ogden. Our team's gearing up right now for a very busy night covering the primary here in Colorado and from coast to coast. We're going to give you a live look now at a Colorado watch party for Bernie Sanders, one for Joe Biden as well. Seemingly the two front runners. Certainly Biden has the momentum tonight, and we've watched people slowly start to fill both of those locations over the last couple of hours. We're expecting both to be packed by the time polls close at 7.
And there are some big questions coming out of Colorado tonight. Will Bernie Sanders build on his 2016 win here? Can the moderate vote push Bloomberg or Biden to a strong performance? And will we see any surprises from Tulsi Gabbard, Elizabeth Warren, or even a long-shot Republican like Bill Weld?
All right, right now let's send it over to Megan Lopez at Denver election headquarters. It's going to be a busy, fun night there, Megan.
Very busy and getting busier by the hour, guys. I mean, there's already been more than 1,000 people who have cast their ballots day of here. That's not people dropping them off. This is people who are coming in and taking the time to vote. And I mean, look at all of these people behind me. All of these people are waiting to cast their ballots as well. More than 1.4 million people have cast their ballots as of the Denver Clerk and Recorder's 3 p.m. results. That gives you an idea of just how many people we're expecting. Now, I took some time to talk to some people today who had already cast their ballots, and there was a really wide variety of who they were casting their ballots for and why. A lot of them told me that they were waiting until today because they kind of wanted to see how the Democratic field was changing, and they were still trying to make up their mind. A lot of them had different issues that they were paying attention to, from health care to climate change. But here's a look at some of them telling me who they voted for.
I voted for Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders?
And why?
He's the most level-headed candidate.
I voted for Elizabeth Warren because I think that it's time that big business was accountable and that government took care of people.
I voted for Pete Buttigieg. As a gay man, this is probably the only time in my lifetime where I'll be able to vote for a gay candidate for president.
So the Denver Clerk and Recorder told me that in all of the weeks kind of leading up to this, the early voting, it was not busy like this. This is definitely the busiest they've seen. If you get in line to vote by 7 p.m., though, you will be allowed to vote. In the room behind me, they are counting those ballots. They've got this high-tech scanner that's new this year to kind of help them sift through all of the ballots. And, of course, we'll be keeping an eye on all of this. Polls close at 7.
All right, Megan, thank you very much.
Thank you. And we just got an update from the Associated Press calling Joe Biden the winner in Alabama right now. So again, we'll stay on top of these results for you, keep them coming. So while this election has run pretty smoothly for the most part, there is one big issue that state leaders may want to fix in future primaries. That's what to do when a candidate drops out.
So if you turn in a ballot for Michael Bennet, Amy Klobuchar, Pete Buttigieg, or any of the other many candidates who have already dropped out, you don't get to re-vote, and that has some people feeling like they just wasted a vote. So we want to look at some solutions here.
Now, one is ranked choice voting, like they have in Maine. You rank your choices, so if someone drops out by election day, you still get to make your voice heard in some form.
Another solution, eliminate early voting. If all votes are cast on election day, there's no chance a candidate could drop out before your vote's cast. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Email us at 360@thedenverchannel.com.
And our election coverage continues right now with Chief Investigative Reporter Tony KOVALESKI. Good evening, Tony.
And Shannon, so much at stake tonight, as you've been talking about. We're going to be taking you inside the numbers throughout the evening. We're going to watch closely on the voter turnout numbers we talked about. There's been a significant surge in Democratic ballots. We're also watching the unaffiliated votes, seeing where they're casting their votes, Republican or Democrat. Right now, unaffiliated voters choosing about 70% of the time to cast a Democratic ballot. We're going to watch that all night. Bottom line, we're watching closely as Colorado decides on those 67 delegates.
Yeah, we're really excited to be a Super Tuesday state. I mean, this is the first time we've been a presidential primary in 20 years. And for us to be a part of Super Tuesday means we are nationally on the map.
So here's how Colorado Democratic voters are going to allocate the state's delegates. Statewide, Colorado has 67 delegates. Now, 23 of those delegates will be determined by a statewide popular vote, and we should know those results sometime late tonight. The remaining 44 delegates are parceled out to the state's 7 congressional districts. And this gets more complicated because we're not likely to know how those delegates are split up until sometime on Wednesday.
So we'll be very careful that the very next day, early in the morning, here's our estimated delegate counts. We'll be very clear that all ballots are still being counted for legal reasons in the state of Colorado.
So Democratic Party Chair Morgan Carroll promising delegate results for the 7 congressional districts by 10 tomorrow morning. That will be interesting to follow, but those results will only be preliminary. Also important to realize a candidate must receive 15% of the vote or more to get a delegate. That's statewide, and that's in each of the 7 districts for Colorado. So a lot to keep our eye on. Those delegates will be our focus tonight. Ann?
You bet. We're not going anywhere, are we, Tony? Thank you very much. And our election coverage doesn't stop at the end of our 6 o'clock newscast. We will be right here live with up-to-the-minute results starting at 7 p.m. on our streaming app for Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. And, of course, back for Denver 7 News at 10.